Renton has a long history of taking care of itself and those around us. And one of the things I really like about the Community Foundation is it's broader than just a single issue.
There are so many different funds under this umbrella that it's easy to find a place where you would like to have your money go. I feel that I don't waste my time and energy doing my homework to look into an area where I might want to give, because I know that the foundation does that. And I feel confident and I have trust in them to do that. It made it easy for us in the community to give to our community and have the feeling that we were well treated and taken care of. And that's the confidence, but yet it's small enough that makes us feel like we're a real community.
Well, one of the things that the foundation started pretty early on was it realized that we're starting to get donor advised funds, we're starting to get donations, but not really enough to have an impact or to really do anything with. Many of the original board members formed what was called the Circle of Giving. This concept was, we'll come to the table, we'll each contribute a fixed amount, and we'll then vote at that same meeting where that money should be distributed based on all the nominations made by the contributors. And it was a great concept for basically, let's get some money out there, let's get some activity going with that money as soon as we can. In the last few years, the work of the Community Foundation has been expanding into take on many of the needs of South King County.
I think the most unique thing about Renton Regional Community Foundation is they are the voice for the community. They spend a lot of time understanding the needs of the community, talking to the nonprofits, and giving them opportunity to have a voice. The work that the Renton Regional Community Foundation does is give opportunity for their voices to be heard, thus the voices of the community to be heard.
Our RCF is different than a lot of other foundations because they meet nonprofits where they're at. There's a true sense of partnership and of relationship building. Alimentando al Pueblo was part of the funder briefing that took place last year. I think the biggest thing that I took away from that in that moment was that people need to hear me speak about my agency. And when funders don't get to meet the people behind the agencies, it is very difficult for them to want to fund us. And there were introductions that were made at that agency that have led to more connections, that have led to warm handoffs. That funders briefing was a point of access for me as a person that comes from a community that historically does not have ties to people with money, that historically does not have ties to people who are in these positions to give me access to money. And so I think that was incredible. That was so important. I have really appreciated being heard, but being able to tell the story of my community and the story of our creation. And so I appreciate that the foundation has really wanted to understand the spirit and the essence of these agencies and is really investing in organizations that are doing this work.
My hope is that funders who normally would not fund in South King County won't just fly over. In funders' terms, flyover means basically that you jump from one community and you kind of bypass a community because you don't see them as a viable funding option. So I would hope that those funders would stop in that community, take time to speak to the nonprofits and realize that they are the ones that are closest to the community and closest to the real needs of making sure those communities are resilient.
The folks that Utopia serves are usually marginalized or underserved or not served at all. And I think this aligns really, really well with the values of Renton Regional Foundation as well. In 2020, Utopia Washington was supporting a lot of community members that were not receiving any kind of support through unemployment or the stimulus. This is when we reached out to Renton Regional Foundation and the Care Together Fund. Renton Regional showed up bravely. And I want to say that again. Renton Regional showed up bravely in those spaces at the right time when it was most needed. They just not only showed up, but they actually provided the critical funding that was needed to support these individuals and their livelihood. I believe through this partnership and through this networking, not only the community benefited actually from it, we were also able to heal through this partnership. One of the things that we all learned through the pandemic is that our people have been living in oppression. Organizations like Utopia and Renton Regional have a same mindset, that is to replace those systems of oppression with systems of care. The success of our story, it lies in the collab, in the getting together. Today I am actually part of South King County, right? South King County looks like me. It feels like me.
I want my community to imagine. I want my community to dream. The foundation has really truly amplified the voices of the folks who are not just living here, but working here for the people here.
Great things can happen when we work together.
There's just nothing quite as wonderful as feeling that you're making a difference. We're all different, but if we put it all together and harness that giving and harness the care that we have for our community and for other people and other cultures, then I think that we'll go great places.